This week, I've been having a lovely old time looking back at some of the mini missions and battles I've had over the past month or so. This week I've been having a great time getting to grips with my new 8.45 inch wide Andy Anderson setup. I'm finding it's a lot easier to throw around, definitely rotates faster for those flip tricks, so I managed to learn the ollie finger flip and also managed to get a boneless double finger flip. The only tweaks I've made to my original setup is I've taken out the 1/8 inch riser pads. I just found that with the harder bushings and the tighter trucks that I wasn't getting any chance of wheel bite. I also found that removing the riser pads helped the board to sit in the rail stand with a little bit more stability. The grip tape that I put for the Casper flip really gives me some extra grippage, and also that grip tape that I put on the front truck is helping me not to slip off when I try my pogo stools. When I took those riser pads out, it left a little bit of the hardware showing. So I got the old saw out, cut those down, fold them back for safety, because it's nice to have it nice. This smaller Andy Anderson version is a little bit lighter, and I found that for ollies, it's just allowing me to pop that little bit higher. I've been working on those steadily with the goal of being able to get up and over a curb or onto a manual pad. And hey presto, this setup seems to have given me the last couple of millimeters I needed to make this goal a reality. Also tried her out on the backyard mini ramp. I'm not gonna lie, definitely took a little bit of adjustment and getting used to. There were a few thrills and spills along the way. Oh my gosh. But after a bit more practice and familiarization, it definitely felt like this smaller, slimmer deck could sow the seeds of possibility. This winter I've been trying to get on the backyard mini ramp as much as I can. The big enemy is ice. A good frost, even with my cover on, seems to still get a bit of crazy paving on the top there. I also experimented with not letting the ice stop me, and that was a little bit emotional at times, but I managed to get away with a drop-in or two. As ever, I've been working on squirreling away more new tricks. First up was the nose pick to fakie. Whew, doing that leap of faith for that fakie re-entry was pretty exciting. I also tried a sort of reverse half cab, which is to come in and spin backwards and then get into your rock to fakie. I found that spinning backwards really unnatural, and the big tip there was to try and stay over the board and also look round with the head the wrong way to facilitate the spin. Also try and get as high up on the top of the coping as possible. That allows the front wheels to hit the deck and stop the rotation. I also had a dabble with one of my dream tricks, the 360 board slide. This one was a lot of fun. I've been meaning to try it for ages. My ramp's not the best for board slides because there's not a lot of clearance, but I managed to get a little micro slide, and I look forward to doing a full video working out how to do these on bigger transitions with a more convincing slide. I recently recorded a video where I learnt the front side boneless. Following that, I was keen to give some variations a go, so I tried the front side boneless to tail. This was a little bit trickier than I anticipated, just found that I needed to keep my body up more on top of the ramp, and then when landing in the tail, commit to having both feet on the board so you can get that nice quick drop back in. Another variation I thought of trying was the boneless finger flip to disaster and back in. Woohoo! So as usual, I found it helpful to break the trick down. I already knew that I could hop out onto the deck because that part is exactly the same as the front side boneless. The bit I needed to practice was doing the finger flip and then jumping up in the air and hopping onto the board with both feet with the board landing on the coping. Whew, That was pretty intimidating. My big fear here was landing with the board primo, so the board over flipping, landing on its side. Oh my goodness. To get my confidence, I used the old handrail and tried a couple of finger flips just to see how they felt. I did land in that primo position momentarily, but after I got a feel for how much flip I needed, I found it quite easy to continually land with my feet on the board, on the coping. So following this preparation stage, I felt I had the confidence to try and put all the elements together. Oh crikey, committing to that is pretty challenging. The key thing that allowed me to make a few was as I jumped in the air and flipped the board, I needed to aim my front foot out into the transition. This felt counterintuitive as it's more safe to land with both feet on the deck. But if I aimed my front foot out into the transition, it allowed it to fall onto the nose of the board. And that's the thing that allowed me to get the back wheels not to hook up on the disaster part. I made quite a few where I got both feet onto the board to come back in, but then the wheels would catch because my feet weren't in a good position to try and get those back wheels over the coping. To finish up, this month I've been pretty excited about getting out and trying my hand at a few little bits of beginner street skating. The local street orientated skate park seems to have some nicely designed features that are not too intimidating for the novice street enthusiast. The first obstacle that caught my eye was this rather groovy looking curved curb section. A while back I recorded a video on 50-50 grinding a curb, so I was eager to give this one a go, see if I could get on, go all the way round and then make it off at the end. I found some of the key things I needed to do was enter with lots of speed, also line up so that I was coming in on an angle. This would thrust the wheels against the curb and help me to lock in. Needed to keep my knees really bent and also keep my head and shoulders on the inside of the turn. So this allowed me to swish my feet around the corner, stay locked in, and then it was just a case of doing a little pop on the tail to fall off the curb at the end. Another obstacle that got me pretty excited was this long whippy transition with a nice bit of flat on top that looked prime for a board slide. When preparing to tackle a board slide on this obstacle, I first of all tried a rock to fakie just to see if I could make it back in on that whippier transition. Woohoo! And I found the trick was to keep my knees really bent, rush my knee up to my chest to clear the front wheels, but not go too far so that the tail hit the concrete, because that would make me fall backwards. Following this, it was a case of coming in with lots of speed, bent knees on an angle, and then trying to get up on the top so I could then board slide, standing on top with the board leveled out. When the board slide started to slow up, it was then just a case of doing my rock fakie to come back in. The big issue I had here was trying to stay on top of the board slide and not slip out. Woo-hoo! I found it quite natural to want to lean backwards, and if I leant backwards, all hell broke loose. Whoo! Ended up falling on me arse. So as I came in, I just needed to stay centered and slide it out. Well, that's it for this monthly roundup video. I hope you enjoyed it. If there are any bits that caught your eye, then let me know in the comments below. As ever, my name's been John Bishop, and I'm a middle-aged guy learning how to skate.